Well, it just goes to show, first of all, how law enforcement agencies can work together. And of course, Jimmy Nichols is a retired law enforcement officer. He's also a good friend of mine as well. So I'm always accessible to people, anything that we can do to help, especially when it comes to people running scam on our citizens. So he reached out to me and he said, do you mind having a conversation with this guy? I think that this may be worth it. We may be able to nab some criminals that are involved in fraudulent activities. So of course, I got the information and I passed the information on to our criminal investigations division, and they spoke with the guy, and the guy was willing to cooperate with law enforcement to help catch these people. Now, we do understand that they were possibly involved in other crimes as well, or some type of crimes of this magnitude. When it comes to Facebook Marketplace, there have been some other incidents where counterfeit checks have been produced as well. So we felt it was very important to go ahead and let's try to get these guys. So after I spoke with our criminal investigations division, I authorized them to go ahead and do an undercover operation. And of course, they posed as the buyers of this ATV. And as a result, the criminals, they showed up and we were able to get them into custody. We were able to recover the check that they had been presenting for the purchase of this ATV as well. 3 of them tried to flee. After a very brief, short pursuit, the deputies were able to get the other individuals into custody as well. And we do believe that all 4 of them were acting in concert together for the purchase of this ATV. Another thing that's very important here is not only have we possibly infiltrated this scam with these counterfeit checks or fraudulent checks, but another thing that's very important when it comes to these types of crimes, not all the time do they have a check when you show up. Sometimes people find themselves victims of being a robbery victim or some other type of violent crime as well. Now, we don't have that information right now, but we do know these things have happened in the past when it comes to people making purchases online, Facebook Marketplace, and being able to have communication with these people, knowing that not all the time does it always smell good. So my advice to people, if it don't pass the smell test, try to stay away from it. But at the same time, contact us because we want to help and we want to break up some of these scams and some of this fraudulent activity that's going on as well.
Now, talk to me about what this is supposed to say to these counterfeiters, these people that are doing this to people.
Well, if we get information that you are involved, or we get information on your identity, we will seek to have you prosecuted for some of these crimes. And of course, you can see I'm very proud of the men and women of the Criminal Investigations Division for the act that they carried out by getting these individuals into custody. Nobody was hurt, and they were able to, what I would say, successfully conduct an undercover operation. So whether we have to conduct an undercover operation or we have to do a long-term investigation based on whatever scam it is that you are involved in, if we can hold you accountable, we will hold you accountable.
Good deal. And I know it's not all the time and it's not always regular, but I know sometimes you have victims of crimes that don't necessarily feel comfortable talking to the police about it.
Right.
Talk about, I know you've kind of talked about that a little bit, about the communication and the cooperation in this situation, but why is it so important to come forward when something like this happens?
Because you have found yourself to be a victim of a crime. And sometimes people don't want to report it because sometimes they are embarrassed or they know that they put themselves in a compromising position as well. But at the same time, coming forward, what you are able to do, you're able to save other people from becoming victims to these scams as well. And we can always go back and revisit any type of situation that has occurred. And if these individuals can find to be identified as the ones responsible for the other prior incidents, they can be charged accordingly as well.
Good deal. Any idea where these folks are coming from, if it's a ring, where it's based?
We believe that it is a ring that is probably based right here in the metro area. We are not exactly sure of how far out it goes, but it's safe to say that it's a ring. And it's safe to say that there are probably other victims that have been victims of this scam as well. We're going to also reach out to our state and federal law enforcement partners as well to assist us with this, to see if they have any information on these individuals or the passing of any type of checks that may be counterfeit as well, because this is something that they may be able to benefit from through their investigations as well.
Sure. Anything else you want to add?
That's all.